Welcome to the show, everybody. It's the Crypto Lark. Today we're going to be talking about the upcoming token sale being put on by the guys over at Current. They're creating a blockchain ecosystem where you get paid to stream all of your favorites on Spotify, YouTube, and others. Before we get into the details of this token sale, a quick shout out, as always, to everyone who has been hitting that like button. Of course, everybody who has been subscribing to the channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you hit that button down below to stay up to date with all of the latest in the crypto space. Furthermore, this is, of course, not professional financial advice. This is just a dude talking about cryptocurrencies on the internet. This is a token sale. Please do your own due diligence before putting your own money on the line. As you know, there is always a certain amount of inherent risk involved. The team at Current has reached out to me to do a sponsored review of the project, but of course I have reserved the right to give an open and honest review. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's try and understand a little bit about the company itself. Now, Current is an existing company. They have about 200,000 plus users, which is fantastic. They are trying to position themselves as a media player in the Web 3.0 that is coming up. Now, so much of Web 3.0 is going to be about getting that attention, getting people to actually look at what it is you're producing, and of course about the data economy. Now, blockchain is flipping the data economy on its head because right now, YouTube or other media platforms, they get your data and they sell that off or monetize it to focus ads towards you. With this, though, you can be in control of your data. Your data is an asset. It's an asset that is being bought, traded, and sold by other people without your knowledge, but it is happening nevertheless. If you are in control of your data, you can get paid for your data, which is very interesting, of course. Now, look, Current is not trying to replace YouTube or Spotify or any of the other platforms. It's actually working with those existing platforms to change the way you interact with those platforms, which is very interesting. So this is not a threat to Spotify or YouTube or any of those other players. They still get to do what they do, except that now you can be a participant in this space. Now, through Current, you will have all of your media in one place, and that's of course very useful for a variety of reasons, but the young generations in particular are accessing everything, of course, via the mobile phones now. This is a massive industry, and if you can actually get a one-stop shop for your media needs, say you want to look up content on Bitcoin, you look that up on Current and you see, top trending Bitcoin video of the day on YouTube and on Spotify, or maybe not Spotify, but any other services, for example, maybe a podcast on Spotify, for example. So lots of different potential there for you to actually access that and then get paid for listening to it. This is, of course, the fantastic part of it. This is consumption as mining. Now, each ecosystem, so let's say YouTube and Spotify, will have sub-tokens for that specific media platform. Those will be able to be traded for Current tokens. And of course, they are already working on future implementations of Current to bring in things like simple podcasts, audiobooks, virtual reality, augmented reality, live streams, all that fun stuff. This is a protocol and an ecosystem for media and for media tokens. It will be a decentralized media infrastructure, so they will host content using something like storage themselves, actually personally in the future, not just giving you that access point. And of course, Ethereum will be used as the distribution network using smart contracts. Now, you might worry about scalability issues with Ethereum, but they are already looking at how they can use state channels built on Raiden to help really overcome that scalability issue. Let's talk about the token. Now, the initial function of the token is really going to be about verifying and rewarding you for partaking and basically streaming, which is fantastic. So if you watch something for more than 30 seconds, you will activate what they call consumption mining. Now, essentially what this is that for every hour of watch time, or 36,000 seconds, a block is mined. So if there are 1 million people each watching 1 hour a day of content, you'll have 1 million blocks mined in a day. Now, for every 100 million blocks that are mined, the block reward will go down. They, of course, have algorithms in place to try to prevent cheating. In fact, the longer you watch, the less of a reward you get. So you can't just turn on your YouTube and let it play 24/7. Eventually, that behavior will be caught, and you will get smaller rewards to the point of being flagged for, of course, trying to cheat the system. So you have to sleep at some point, I suppose. Now, 2% of the block reward will go back into a growth pool, which will keep this ecosystem moving forward over time. The tokens themselves, so each block, a certain amount of the reward will go to the consumer. In fact, 55% of the block reward will be given out to consumers, 20% to creators, 20% to curators, a certain amount to referrals, and again, that growth pool will get 2%. Now, if you have, let's say you're using Current and you have a bunch of Current YouTube tokens, remember you can always swap those out for Current tokens or other tokens using the Bancor protocol. There will be no ads if you have more than 5 Current tokens in your wallet. If you have less than that, you will have to watch ads until you have mined enough with your consumption mining to get up to the point of having 5 tokens or more. However, if you have 5 tokens or more and you still want to partake in the ad framework, you can actually get higher rewards from the consumption mining if you actually watch ads, if you sign up for that. So you can actually, I think, up to double the amount that you mine by having ads activated, which is, of course, great because right now, what happens is you watch an ad on YouTube, hopefully the creator gets some of that, but sometimes they get very little of that, and realistically, most of the benefit goes to YouTube. Here, at least, you actually get paid to watch the ads as a consumer. The creator still gets paid. Everybody wins here, which is really nice. Now, the token will have massive utility within the ecosystem. You can use the token to pay for premium services, for example. You can use it to make donations to content creators that you like. You can use it for payments. You can use it to advertise. So if you are an advertiser and you want to advertise, you actually have to use the Current token in order to advertise on the Current platform. And of course, there will be subscription services, and you can use your Current tokens to pay for any given subscription services as well. Let's talk about the team. Now, we've got a really good team here. I'll leave you guys to actually come over here and read through the LinkedIn profiles should you want to, but the 3 co-founders here, we'll just go briefly over their experience. Now, Dan has been profiled in many different entrepreneurial magazines. He's got a massive social media following. Nick has been working on the product design and development over at Current, the existing version of Current. Right? Remember, this is an existing company. And Kieran has been working on scalability of web services and different things like this. So again, you can come over here and look through the team itself and get a better idea of that. But I think one thing that's really attracted a lot of people's attention outside of the co-founders themselves have been the people who have signed on as advisors and investors. Mark Cuban has invested in this project. We also see a lot of great advisors on the list. We see the guys from Bancor are involved with the project. We have Dave from Augur, John Wise from Loki, Eric from BitQuick, and on down the line we go with lots of people who obviously see the utility of this project and are getting in and getting involved because they're excited about it. Looking at the roadmap, the team will be expanding in Q1 2018. The platform, so the blockchain-based platform, will be launching later this year. Decentralized storage and identity profiles coming Q1 next year. So remember, it will be a centralized service to start decentralizing more over time, but it will still be centralized to an extent because you do need to access these different things using their app. So that's something to keep in mind there, guys. I thought it's worth mentioning as well the business model. So how is Current going to make money? Now, one thing they're looking at, of course, is really the premium services that will be paid for in Current, but they'll be paid to Current. So they'll be paid in their token, but to them. Of course, selling ads as well will be an important part of that process. Third-party data. Now, this is something that some of you may have strong opinions about one way or the other, but the thing I want to mention is that this is optional. If you want to sell your data, you can do that, and by signing up to have your data as basically a saleable asset, you will get more consumption mining rewards. That being said, if you don't want to, you can turn that off. And of course, there will be an internal market where you can swap your current YouTube tokens for your current Spotify tokens to just regular current tokens, then off to Ethereum, for example, using Bancor. And of course, they will take a fee like any exchange would for that internal market. I think it's also worth mentioning here potential competition. Now, they talk about Kin, and actually Kin's kind of operating in a different space, but they've actually set up a model that is kind of similar to what Current wants to do. And they really point out that, hey, this model's worked before, we're going to try to make it again using Current. You might think about basic attention token. Remember, we're talking about getting people's attention here on the internet and trying to get them to your platform so that you can monetize, right? Basic attention token has done very well at doing that. It is a competitor to an extent. Again, it's slightly different because they're offering a web browser where you can, of course, block out all the ads. And if you want to receive ads, you can get paid for that. It's a slightly different model. What the guys over at Brave are offering. Steam, of course, is a social media where you can get paid by other users. You might also think about Props. For example, Props is setting up an ecosystem where you can reward content creators quite easily. It's a slightly different idea, though, again. So there are different iterations of similar projects, but no one doing exactly what Current is doing, exactly the way that Current wants to try to do it. But other projects have been successful with similar kinds of models. Now, you might also think, oh, Lark, why does this project need blockchain anyway? Certainly this could just be an app. Why do we need to have blockchain here? Well, of course, the block rewards for the mining, the consumption mining that is, are an important part of the feature. Transparency of payments, right? Remember, when it's in a data center locked away by Google or YouTube or someone like that, you don't actually know that you're getting your fair share of whatever. You assume you are because you have a certain amount of trust. But this is a trustless system, right? It's all run by code, put on the blockchain for verification purposes. And of course, that settlement layer for the payments themselves are made super, super simple with the tokenization of your attention. So, certainly blockchain worthy in my opinion. Now, if you're not going to get into the ICO, or you're not able to get into the ICO, it's not a bad idea to get in and use Current as soon as they start using the blockchain model, because the rewards will be quite high for the first 100 million blocks. That's something to keep in mind. You can actually just be doing what you would do anyway, right? If you're going to watch YouTube anyway, or if you're going to listen to something on Spotify anyway, well, why not do it through them and get paid to do it? It would almost seem silly not to at a point. They also have something that's going to be called Claim Your Wallet. So this is a campaign they'll be doing to get people interested in the project, but they'll be giving away Current tokens as well during that process. So if you do miss out on the sale, you can always go ahead and check that out. You might say as well, Lark, why wouldn't Spotify or YouTube or someone just do this? Why wouldn't they just implement blockchain and, you know, basically make this project useless? Well, look, the fact is they haven't yet. Does YouTube have the money to do it? Potentially, but it would take a lot to change their business model. And that's one thing to keep in mind, that these legacy players, it's hard for them to change the business models. It takes them a lot of time to change their business models. So it would be tough for them. Because Current is a fairly new player and they do have a few 100,000 people who use their app, they still would find an easy way to change moving forward. The guys over at Current are raising a total of $36 million. That is the hard cap. In total, there'll be 350 million tokens up for sale. Now, that is 35% of the total tokens, so there is a 1 billion maximum supply for these tokens. 35% are being reserved for mining rewards. A small percentage is set aside for the Current Foundation, which will be set up for the governance of the ecosystem as they transition to open source and fully decentralized platform. Again, that is a transition that will take some time to get there. It will be more centralized at the start. That's something to keep in mind. Now, if you do want to get involved in the token sale, I'll have a link down below where you can go ahead and come over here and check out the website, read through the white paper yourselves, think, man, is this something I want to get involved in or not? I think it's a project that definitely has a good potential. The space is really taking off as far as media streaming, mobile streaming. All this is getting more and more popular. And as we see more companies moving into blockchain, and of course the young generation getting more interested in cryptocurrencies, projects like this, I think, do have a good chance of succeeding in the future. Anyway, you guys will let me know what you think about it in the comment section down below. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.